Altcoin season is heating up, and with Bitcoin cooling off after its parabolic move, capital is rotating fast. In this video, we're going to cover 5 altcoins with major upside potential as we head into August of 2025. Hey everybody, it's Paul from DataDash and welcome back. Today is Thursday, July 24th of 2025, and as we enter the heart of Q3, we're seeing some major shifts in the crypto landscape. Bitcoin dominance is starting to roll over a bit. We have ETF inflows that are driving institutional momentum, and key altcoins are beginning to show strength as capital starts to rotate out of Bitcoin. Today I'm breaking down 5 altcoins I'm watching closely for the month of August, including a few large caps, some mid caps with strong fundamentals, plus a bonus low cap gem, which to me I always consider a beer money trade, which is something I don't anticipate putting a lot of capital in, but if it does play out, it does have a sizable move to the upside. So whether you're a long-term investor or just looking for some strong setups for the month, these are the projects you'll want to have on your radar. So as always, folks, make sure to grab yourself a cup of coffee, whether it's hot or iced, because I'm breaking it all down right now. First up on our list is going to be Ethereum. All right, so in August and into September, I'm actually anticipating Ethereum to come through and break for new all-time highs. Will that be the case? Obviously is yet to be seen, but at the moment we've seen some really strong momentum here. We had a sizable bullish setup here that we identified down here at about $1,400 with 3 major targets, one of which being the 382, which we obviously saw that met right in a hurry. I don't have it pulled up here anymore, but it was sitting right at this level here. We flipped that into support there. We then had a little dip here into this region, reclaimed that area. The secondary target of this was our gold pocket, about $3,100. Once again, don't have it pulled up, but that's what we were targeting when we were down here at the $1,400 region. And then the final target of this overall setup, which is more aggressive, is the C point, okay, which is exactly where we're seeing us run into a little bit of turbulence right now, which is $3,744, give or take. Obviously, we've pushed up to about $3,800. Now, more locally, I'm looking for a little bit of a cool down here, which we're seeing now. I identified this and put it into the Traders Club Discord earlier this week, all right, which I was looking for a key area for a sizable little bounce to come out of, right? And that area is between 3,500 basically, all the way down here to about 3,250. So if I'm looking for a little pullback, a cool down, and a continuation from anywhere, it's going to be around this region. The 382 and the weekly pivot is one of the main factors for that $3,500 area I'm looking towards. It's also a bit of a front run when anybody's looking to target that gold pocket, right? So anybody that's looking for a cool down on ETH may be targeting this region. Doesn't mean we don't get it, but if a lot of times when we see these moves here, they're very strong to the upside, and we only see a shallow retracement down to the 382, and the fact that that's also right at the weekly pivot, which is the average price from last week, likely to be met this week, it just gives me a little bit more leeway to look to that region for the next little sizable bounce area. And from that area, I'd look to see the next sizable move come in and then head towards that all-time high. And in the month of August, I do anticipate us making fresh all-time highs here for Ethereum as long as we are holding above that $3,100 level. Now, the second project here that I'm looking into for the month of August has had a sizable run here as well so far. So take that for what it's worth, folks. You know, obviously I'm positioned in at least Ethereum and a couple of these other projects from way lower. So it does need to be taken into account, obviously, when looking at these type of videos and outlooks here, that the way I'm managing these positions is going to be a little bit different than somebody just freshly entering today, right? So there is potential for cool downs and pullbacks at these levels because we have seen the market push up quite a bit. So just take that for what it's worth there. But if we're looking for continuation and more strength to come in here, that's what we're looking for in the targets and the areas we want to see flipped to see that continuation occur, right? So the second project that I'm going to be looking into here is actually Chainlink. So again, another large cap project, a little bit of an older one, right? We've had this around for multiple years. We've been ranging around for quite some time, putting in a sequence of higher lows and higher highs along the last few months here, and currently trading at the high side of the range. Okay, so just take that into consideration. Again, we're trading into resistance essentially. So here we could see a little bit more of a pullback, right? We're looking at just some local cool downs here across the board, but overall I'm looking for this to break this range here, right? That's going to be the key here for any more upside, right about this $21. And from there, I'm looking to take this up to about 38 and ultimately basically back to the all-time high, which at least on the Binance chart is registering about $53. It's also the 1618 expansion here on a trend-based fib pull. So that's going to be a really big area to look to. I would note that that's a pretty highly likely scenario if we do get above $21, start closing that on the daily. Okay, so that's going to be my little trigger there for any more continuation from here. As far as any more sizable areas to look for currently, just in the local aspect here, if we come down to maybe like $16, $17, potentially even down to 14, those are the next big supports just from our local retracement here. Now note that that is pretty big drops there. I would really have my eyes on this 382, that $17 mark. Currently we're trading at about $18.20, so not too far off from where we are currently. So that's what I'd look for a support bounce. If we're going to get any more downside here, then I'd look to break this range at 21, and after that I'm looking to take it up to 38 to the all-time high at $54 here on Chainlink, potentially in the month of August and into September. Now I know I actually said this was going to be a top 5 type of list, where I was looking at 5 projects that I anticipated to see any more upside in the month of August. I'm actually going to throw a curveball in and add a 6th one while we're in the large caps here, and it's actually XRP. Now, XRP has already had a sizable run, so once again, something to be considering. Now we're trading right into the all-time high areas of about $3.30, $3.40, depending on what exchange you're looking at, right? And getting a little bit of a pullback here, very much similar to anything else in the market. We had a really sizable move up just over the last few, just days really? Maybe the last month, I'm sorry. So from June 21st, we're up almost 100%, okay, 90% here on XRP, getting a little bit of a pullback. Obviously, these are scary times, and these pullbacks move pretty fast. You get the stairs up type of system and then elevator down. So that fast-moving price action gets people's blood flowing both ways. When we get these fast moves up, obviously everybody's attracted to it and wants to get in. Get the fast moves down, and it's always like, what's going on? Why is everything crashing? Very simple, just normal moves here in the market, folks. Same thing here. I'm just pulling a simple Fibonacci retracement from this overall impulse. We're coming down, if we don't get into it here, around the 382. So similar to Chainlink at that $17 mark, and XRP down at that $3,500 mark. Coming down to these regions here is a very normal and natural thing to see. We get a little retracement down into a little bit of a shallow area, potentially here at 382. And that's what we typically see after a really strong impulse move like that. And that's where I'd look to see the next bounce, area off of. And really, we've already kind of front ran it just a little bit here, but it's right at $3 essentially. It's at 297, and on a psychological idea, right? If anybody's come into this market with any type of leverage, more than likely they're going to get liquidated under $3, as well as anybody even with their spot positions. People have come in, purchasing these new highs basically, and once we start losing that psychological rounded number of $3, people start getting really freaked out. They start dumping their positions as well. It's really just a game of emotions, back and forth. But with all that aside, I just want to point out this is a very natural move here. We've got a nice impulse coming back for a potential retest of the 296 zone. We've really, I'd consider it almost tapped already. We've come down quite a bit, but overall, I actually anticipate another leg higher out of XRP into the month of August and maybe even September. We have a potential AB equals CD pattern here, which is a harmonic setup. This not something I'm overly married to, just something I'm putting on here as a little bit of confluence, especially around that 450 spot. So I like the 450 zone. It front runs $5, which is where many people are going to be looking to take profits on their XRP, especially if they've been long-time holders. So 450 is actually a spot where I could see a sizable pullback occur, maybe like 30-40%. So that's a big area I'm looking to. But in the meantime, that's actually still remains a major target to the upside from where we are currently. So if we were to see that move in the next coming weeks, for example, maybe we get a bounce off this region here. That's a pretty decent 40-50% move that could very well occur in the month of August. Again, this is something that's already up substantially. We're up a couple 100% since last November, even at where we're at now. You're talking up 500%. So is this the first thing I jump into? Really, no. I don't necessarily chase big pumps like that. If I had no position in XRP, this is not the first thing I'd be chasing, but I can, acknowledge that we have a potential 50-60% run here towards a major target that I think would be pretty exciting for the overall market, as XRP and Doge and some of these legacy kind of exciter coins is what I call them. As when these couple, you have some household names, and when they start moving, everybody gets excited, right? For whatever reason it is. Everybody starts talking about crypto again when XRP moves, or Dogecoin. Doge maybe has lost its luster a little bit in that sense, but it really hasn't had any extreme pumps as of recently. But usually those are the two in the past where, like, when they start really moving, it's, you know, it gets a little attention. Your friends and family might start reaching out, right? Stuff like that. But 450 is the area I'm looking for XRP in the coming weeks here. Now, the next project is more of a mid cap. It is Arbitrum, ARB, which basically this is the #1 layer 2 for Ethereum. This is something that's got a booming DApp scene and just something that's really kind of a sleeper in my opinion as far as the price action goes right now, mixed with what the fundamentals are looking like as far as that would go. And while we've seen a pretty sizable push to the upside, about 70% where we're trading at right now, maybe about 55 right from the local lows, something to be considered. But overall, I do think that we have a little bit of a breakout here. I've drawn up a very simple falling wedge here. I wouldn't really go off of this by itself. But it is something to be said here, right? So just to keep it relatively simple, to some degree, I really do actually like this. The major breakout target of this, you know, a very simple pattern is up here at the gold pocket. All right. This is also an untapped yearly level as far as a horizontal level of resistance. We have an untapped yearly pivot, which is an average of price from last year that's likely to be met this year. So that gives us a little bit of confluence up in this area. And one thing I wanted to see out of this was that we would break this region and then reclaim our 2024 low, which is pretty much right where we're at right now. We've got a breakout, a potential back test of this level as well. And I'd say the confirmation at this point from where we are right this moment would be claiming 51 cents. All right, so starting to see 4-hour time frame, daily time frame candles close above that region. I would say it's very likely we're going to make our move up towards this area to the 119 and then up towards that gold pocket, which is the overall target of this whole setup, as well as mixed in with a couple of high time frame averages that are just likely to be met upon a break in this region as well. So with the success we've seen out of Ethereum in the last few weeks, I would imagine that the #1 layer 2 on Ethereum, Arbitrum, would actually seek a little bit of a following path in the sense of the price action. So not only do we have, once again, the fundamental side of things actually looking relatively well, the technical setup here is pretty good. It's also trading around the lows, and in my eyes, it's just one that really hasn't popped yet. And I always look for those, especially when something's trading down around the range lows. It may not have the overall potential that some others do have, or maybe it doesn't have the momentum that some others do have at times when you're getting something that appears dead or flat at the moment. But we all know how quickly those can just break to the upside, and it happens very fast. You have to be prepared for it well in advance, and I think that Arbitrum has the potential to see a really sizable move to that gold pocket region at about $1.59 to $1.66, and that would be a sizable, almost 300% rally if we were given the entire, you know, move up there. So living above that 51 cent mark at this point is really what I'd be looking to. Obviously, we're down below that. There's opportunities for entries and all that good stuff. But yeah, I'm looking for that 51 cent to get claimed on Arbitrum, and then I'm looking to take that up pretty nicely. Another more mid-cap opportunity I see in the market right now is Aptos, APT. And this is one that, similar to Arbitrum, is trading near the lows, right? So these are the ones that I consider something that really hasn't popped yet. And while maybe it doesn't have the momentum behind it at the moment, like things like Ondo does, or Solana at times, or even XRP right now, to me, I look for some more risk versus reward. And in a sense of risk management, this is something that I could see having more upside potential, just because it hasn't, you know, had those explosive moves quite yet. Doesn't mean it's going to happen by any means, but for me, I look for these ranging activities more than anything. We've seen it time and time again, where at least we rotate the range. And in that sense, we're just talking on a simple rotation here, right? So at this point, we rotated from low to high. We rotated from high to low. We're trading down at the lows again, just looking for a simple range rotation here, back towards the high side, where we have a stack of key levels up here. Untapped yearly pivot, a untapped point of control for 6 months, which is a volume level, and then our overall gold pocket up here as well. And that's a sizable move if we got to see that as well, right? Over 100% move just to get back to really nowhere. Nothing really even materializes at that point. But in the midterm here, it's just a really great opportunity. Who doesn't love a good 100% move? If we were to see that move unfold, then we'd have to obviously take a peek at the context when we get here to see if we start either getting rejected at these levels, or if we start to flip them and push through that gold pocket. If we push through this gold pocket right here, which is essentially breaking out of the range as well, Well, now we have potential to actually make a pretty decent Hail Mary here and get a pretty decent overall range break. And I do target up towards about $30 if that occurs. So not married to that by any means at the moment. Got to take it step by step, day by day here. But where we are currently at this moment, personally, I've been accumulating a pretty decent position here myself, so take that again for what it's worth. But I am looking to target these regions up here to the upside. Once again, be looking at the context of the market here, probably definitely a take profit region up here. And then if we do flip this area, I target a run up towards about $30, assuming that the entire market's obviously doing well at that point. That's a very, very large move. That's probably like about a 500% rally, right? So that's like what we saw out of XRP last year. But this is what I look to, because these things have more potential to do that as they're trading near these lows, right? Now I have a little bit of a small low cap gem opportunity I'm paying attention for. Once again, folks, this is something that I don't anticipate putting any sizable capital into. I wouldn't suggest that for anybody. Please do your due diligence, your own research, and don't invest anything you're not willing to lose, especially on a low cap gem styled opportunity. I always say that this is like a beer money trade, something that I completely don't anticipate getting back. But if I do, it's got some sizable upside, right? So this project here, AI16Z, same thing, right? Something that's trading near the lows. Now, mind you, this could be completely dead, right? We could really never ever see something out of this. Maybe this was all she got. Maybe it was a pump and dump at this point. That is the risk of these lower cap opportunities that we have to, be willing to appreciate at this point, right? In the market. So. But I'm looking at this one. If we start to claim some ground here, which is about 22 cents, currently trading about 17 and a half, currently trading right at the point of control towards the bottom of the range. There's some upside potential here, right? And even if we just run it back towards our 2024 low, which is 51 cents here, it's a sizable move. Okay, it's about 200% just to get back to that region, right? So not even looking at some crazy price targets above us, just looking at what a very technical setup that we, at least myself, I see this time and time again. You have these huge impulse moves. You have these breakdown, basically back down towards the low. They're in the depths down here. We consolidate for quite some time. Everyone thinks it's dead. And then you get a big break to the upside, only to even if just push it back to a macro 382, and then just to give it all right back up, right? So this is a major target area that I'm looking towards around this quarterly pivot untapped. Right, so anything with an asterisk on my chart is always an untapped level, very key region. Very few times you'll have anything on the chart that doesn't really matter, but in this sense, I'd look to, kind of manage this along the way. We need to flip this region here. At that point, we look to run it up here. 51 cents then becomes a very key area to get above. Otherwise, nothing materializes. Pretty much just range bound until then. And if we do flip that, then I think that we have a really decent chance for a sizable run up towards 94 cents back to $1. All right, so high caution on these. Again, I don't love covering small cap gems all the time because I think that it's taken out of context a lot. So as much as I can, portray the caution around this and stating that you will lose your money, plan on that. But there's opportunities afoot here as well, right? So for me, I look to these where it's like I'll sprinkle a little bit into this, and if it does hit that major target area, then that's great. And I have a big chunk that I didn't have originally that I can actually park that into a project that I'm actually interested to hold for more of a mid to long term play. Because if we do see that move to the macro 382, that's about a 500% move, right? So something that once again, I'm not really willing to put in any sizable capital into this, but if it's something that I could throw a little bit into, maybe it plays out, I make 500% on that, and then I could park that into a couple of Ethereum. That's kind of the mindset I have with it. I'm not looking to get rich over this. I'm not looking to park my entire portfolio in this asset, hope it 10x's overnight, and then walk away with it. So again, please just realize these things are risky as can be. But there's opportunity there as well, so I can't ignore that. And as a trader, that's what I look for in the market. Things such as virtuals, even, right? That was one that went up several 100%. It was the same thing. I scaled into that around the low areas. Had a really nice run to the upside. At the entire time, I had to realize that that was a potential something that I could just washed out, right? I could have just went to zero. So do keep that in mind. But other than that, this is what I'm looking for in the month of August. Will be fun to come back and maybe revisit this in a couple weeks, see how things kind of turn around. But aside from that, that wraps it up for today's breakdown of top altcoins to watch in August of 2025. As always, these aren't just hype picks. They're projects showing real momentum, narrative, strength, and some technical promise as we move deeper into the cycle. So keep in mind, timing and proper risk management are key, especially in a market this dynamic. And folks, if you found any value in today's video, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more market insights. And if you'd like real-time updates, trade setups, and exclusive member content, you can join our Traders Club Discord over at datadashpro.com. As always, folks, thank you so much for watching. Until the next time, stay safe, stay smart, and I'll see you all in the next video. Till then, everybody, cheers.